Hey guys, and welcome to my first in a long series of live podcasts I'm going to call Forgotten Podcasts. There are quite a few things I want to talk about today, including some movies I have watched lately that I have enjoyed and I would like to discuss, and some video games and rumors I have heard about. But anyway, let's get started. Where should I start? I guess first I'll talk about the movies I saw. The first I want to talk about is a horror-themed movie called Krampus, and it's based on an urban legend, but they created a family in the movie who's experiencing the wrath of Krampus, and they want to explain it in that kind of way. Krampus is basically an anti-Santa Claus in a way. But the storyline is there's a boy who wishes for his annoying family to go away, and he gets his wish in the most violent way possible. Krampus brutally murders every last of his family members, and you'll have to see the movie to know the rest. That's all, that's all I'm saying, but that's pretty much the base of the movie. The second movie that I wanted to talk about was a classic. I bet a lot of you have seen it, and I bet a lot of you have not. It came out in the 80s. It's called The Highlander, and it's about a bunch of it's about a guy named Cutter McLeod, and he's an immortal. And there are a bunch of immortals, and he has to fight to be the last immortal standing. He has been alive since the year 1518, supposedly, in the movie, but he changes his name around every time that someone would die, so it doesn't seem shady. So, there are different scenes where he's, in the past, and some scenes where he's in modern day. And in modern day, his name is Russell Nash, and in the past, his name is Connor McLeod, because he has to have different names, or else just wait, this guy has been alive since the year 1518. Back in the past, in the 1700s, a guy named Ramirez, I think that's what his name was, something like that, taught him great swordsmanship, and he was 100% awesome at it by the end. And I don't want to get really deep into the movie because it'll be a spoiler for those people who want to see it but haven't yet. And it's really graphic and violent, so I might get in trouble with YouTube if I talk about it. But it's a really good movie. If you want to see it, I definitely recommend it if you're into that kind of thing. All of the movies that I talked about are really, really good. And I wanted to move on to video games that have come out lately, and I've been playing lately. There is a game that has come out lately that I'm sure everyone who is watching this right now has heard of, Subnautica. It's pretty recent. I think it came out in 2017. The game is you are stranded in a little escape pod underwater, and you have to get a bunch of materials to survive. It's kind of like Minecraft, but it's all underwater, and obviously it's not all blocky. That's a game that has come out recently, but there's one that has not come out recently, but has a movie coming out lately, and you might know what I'm talking about, you might not. That movie that's coming out lately, this year when I'm recording this, 2018, it's called Rampage. It's based on a game that came out in like late 80s, early 90s, I'm not sure, but it's an arcade game where you can choose between a giant mutant gorilla or a giant mutant crocodile. And you have to use them to basically just destroy entire towns and destroy people and break down buildings. I know it sounds really, really cool. It's not. It's really not. It's really not that fun at all. It's really hard, in my opinion, that is. But there's one game that's straight up just old. Not that old. But it's still pretty old. And you should probably know by now. I think I might have mentioned it once or twice. If you watch my channel, you would know that I have an obsession with in my opinion, the best game series in existence, Mortal Kombat. And I just have like a great obsession with it for some reason. I honestly don't know why. I just find it insanely fun, and I play it for like hours. It's a game, if you don't know it, where the first game came out in 1991. The most recent one, I don't know if it's come out yet, MKXL, Mortal Kombat XL, and then there's Mortal Kombat X. First of all, I need to tell you about the garbage spin-off movies of that game. There was a movie called, Mortal Kombat, and it got like a terrible rating. I've seen it before, and I can see why it got a terrible rating. It came out in 1995, which is when Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 had just come out. So it's the first 3 games had already been come out. So part of the reason that it was so bad is because they had to kind of make up their own storyline. Because the 3 games had already come out and they couldn't use just one of them because people had been playing the most recent ones and people were just like, wait, why are you so outdated? But they would only be like outdated by like 4 years, but still. I liked the movie, kind of. Like, the graphics were terrible and so were the acting, but I liked it just because of how bad it was. And the second movie was even worse. It came out in 1997, which was when Mortal Kombat 4 came out. Both the Game Boy Color version, the Nintendo 64 version, and the PlayStation version had all come out in the same year. And the game was fun. Again, the movie was terrible. The second one was called Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And I can't even get into how garbage it was. Oh, and there's something I just remembered. Remember earlier I was talking about that movie, The Highlander? Connor McLeod was played by a guy named Christopher Lambert. And in the first Mortal Kombat movie, Christopher Lambert played Raiden. But in the second movie, it was a completely different dude, which is really odd. Probably because the first movie didn't do that well because of, again, Christopher Lambert's weird French accent. It's, again, like, it looked like 100% all of the special effects had been made in Microsoft Paint, which is, I guess, decent at the time, because they only had like the best thing they had in the 90s was, like, I don't know, Paint Shop Pro, like really late versions of Paint Shop Pro. But it was like borderline garbage. If like again, I liked it just because of how bad it was. And spoiler alert, for those people who love Johnny Cage, might be upset to hear this, but like in the second movie, like one of the first scenes was Emperor Shao Kahn cracking Johnny Cage's neck and throwing his corpse on the ground. So yeah, basically he dies within the first 5 minutes of the second movie. And I don't know why he died like so instantly, and he doesn't come back. That's like an ultimate spoiler, so that's why I said spoiler alert. I just loved it, but because of how bad it was. I actually play, I've played most of the game before on like Flash emulators, but there's one emulator, I forget what it's called, it's like Fusion.exe, and I use it to play the Genesis, Master System, and Game Gear versions of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I usually play the Sega Genesis version because it emulates the arcade version of the game perfectly, and the arcade versions are always the best. And Sega Genesis was like the best option in the 90s, so that just made it that little bit better, but it was still a classic nonetheless. I haven't really played any of the recent ones because I like to stick to the classics. The most recent one I played was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, and that game was decent, and it was pretty good for a Game Boy Advance game, because I played the Game Boy Advance port. I haven't played any of the ones just after that, like Armageddon, like Mortal Kombat Armageddon and stuff like that. Again, that was an amazing game for Game Boy Advance. I think it came out in 2002, something like that. And it was the first 3D Mortal Kombat game that I actually really, really enjoyed. But that's because it was only the second 3D Mortal Kombat game in existence. The most recent one that I enjoyed the most had to be Mortal Kombat 4, because it's the Nintendo 64. I absolutely love it. It's the predecessor to the Wii. Wait, no, I think the predecessor to the Wii is the GameCube. Okay, but anyway, it was a couple years before the Nintendo Wii. It was the Nintendo 64. After that ended, they came up with the GameCube. After that ended, there came the Wii. And after that ended, there was the Wii U. And after that, there's the most current Nintendo game console that has just came out, which is the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch is great. I have won a Nintendo Switch, but it's I don't know why. I forget how or why, but I did. But it's really, really good. they've come out with like a Mortal Kombat game on all of those, except for the Nintendo Switch because it's really new, and the GameCube because it couldn't handle the I don't think it could like really handle the what they were expecting for like 3D for the GameCube. If you know what I mean. You probably don't, because if you're like I don't know half the stuff I'm saying right now. But anyway, those are like the predecessors of the Wii, and the Wii was the first game console I ever got, and I got my own Wii U for I think my 6th birthday, like the year it came out, and I was super happy. And like nowadays, like it was great for the time. It was like revolutionary. It was like the untethered portable small screen controller, and the compatibility with the Wii remote, and the backwards compatibility with the Wii. And since the Wii was backwards compatible with the GameCube, the Wii U was backwards compatible with the Wii and the GameCube, which made it great. The Wii, the Wii U was pretty great in my book because it was revolutionary when I got it. It was the sequel to the first game console I ever owned when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and it was I don't even want to explain how much I love it. But I'm not gonna lie, I play more arcade games than modern day games because I'm just that kind of guy. I am sitting here in my bedroom / recording studio in my chair in front of my table, which you can't see, but I am. But my bed is right next to me, and it has my Atari Flashback like right sitting right on top of my bed. That is proof that I love arcade games. I even have one of those things that I bought recently. It's a bootleg, but it has like classic games on it. Like even my laptop that's also sitting on my bed next to me right now, like the only modern game I have on it is like King of Thieves. And when I don't have Wi-Fi, I literally just play either Pong or Pac-Man. And I'm not gonna lie, it actually keeps me occupied because I love those kind of games. My Atari Flashback has a lot of great games on it. But I think it uses a NOAC. And if you don't know what that is, it's a Nintendo on a chip. So it's using the Nintendo processor instead of the Atari. I think it uses some Atari 7800 games and 2600 games. Like it uses the original port of what's it called? Oh, Pitfall. And it also has the NOAC version of Yar's Revenge, but it's still great. I love it. It's a plug and play, which is the best part. You just like plug it into your TV and boom. I think the Atari Flashback 8 is the most recent one to date, and it has the most games on it. I think it has 105, where the rest has like 70, 80. But it doesn't have like any of the really like good classics. Whenever I boot up that game, the first thing I either do is play Breakout, Super Breakout, the ripoff of Yar's Revenge, or Pitfall, because those are the only games that I actually enjoy on it. I've played the other ones, and I play it for like 5 minutes, and I'm just like, this is garbage. and I end up just playing one of the games that I usually do. But anyway, I have talked about movies, video games, and there's another thing I wanted to talk about. One really, really insane rumor that I don't believe at all, but I've heard it spreading through my school and all over the place. Definitely my school especially. And that Dan TDM, I doubt it because he hasn't mentioned it yet, but Dan TDM, I heard he is shutting down his channel. I really doubt it, but like I was watching Dan TDM while I was writing down the scripts for this podcast, and I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time, not because I didn't know what to do for the podcast scripts, but because I I really didn't know if his channel was going to be shut down or not. It's only, when I'm recording this, it's like 2 hours before noon. It's like 11:15. When I'm recording this, like right now, but so he's gonna be uploading his new video in a couple hours, if he does, if he still exists. But the thing is I really don't believe it, but it's like a really interesting thing to think about anyway. I was going to do this live, but for some reason YouTube said I couldn't do it because I have like way too many copyright strikes on my channel, and because of all the stuff I've said about today about like a bunch of actors, video game companies, and these I'm probably gonna get like a crud ton more. But you can't get any live streams from me. I'm sorry, but I can't because YouTube has banned me from doing live streams because I have too many copyright strikes. And I honestly don't care because it takes like forever to write a script anyway. I didn't even write my entire script. I wrote like a quarter of it, and it's on my computer right now. And at the beginning, I was like reading it, and then I eventually just like stopped in the middle of a sentence, and I eventually just kept like blabbing on and just saying a bunch of random stuff. But let's see what else there is to talk about, if anything. There's movies, video games, the rumor I wanted to talk about. Yup. Nothing left on my scripts that I said I wanted to talk about earlier. So I'll see you next time. Oh wait, and there's another thing I wanted to say, and it's that I will be doing a video, Forgotten Podcast. Like 1 week I'll be doing a video, the next week I'll be doing a podcast, the next week I'll be doing a video, the next week I'll be doing a podcast. Because I just want to mix it up a little. So, this was the first episode of Forgotten Podcasts, and I'll see you next week with a showcase video on, I think I'm going to be doing a showcase on either one of my books or my Atari Flashback that I was talking about earlier. But I'll see you next week with a showcase on one of those things. Bye, guys.